Hey everyone, guess who's back for another live session? Tonight I've been exiled into my room because it's Friday night footy and my housemates kicked me out. So I'm no longer allowed to do live videos where my housemate Troopy is around because the last time that we did live and he was in it, some sicko from Instagram said, "Fist me daddy." And so Troopy didn't like that, and pretty much so he doesn't appear in any of the live videos now. But if enough of you want Troopy to come back, then we'll get you to vote, bring back Troopy. Just everyone comment, bring back Troopy, and I'll make sure that he gets in the next video. And so someone else can tell him to fist me daddy. But yeah, so tonight's video, carbs, why they're not scary, because carbs really aren't scary. The dieting industry, the health industry, the fitness industry, the paleo industry, literally all these industries demonize carbs when really they're not that bad at all. In fact, they're not that. It's not even that they're not that bad at all. They're good. So they actually benefit you in a number of ways. So they're really, really good in an absolute shitload of ways. And we're going to go cover all these bad boys and then hit up some of the questions that I got from you guys. So as always, if you get any questions in regard to what I'm going through, let me know because I'll see your question pop up here and then I'll scroll through and then just reply to you on the fly. So literally anything, ask me anything. I'm just going to share this in the JCF Shred community. If you're not in that already, get amongst it. So yeah, let me post, you stupid thing. There we go, got it sorted, nailed it. Alright, sick. So, let's get into it, guys. So pretty much, the reason why carbs aren't bad is because they do an absolute heap of really, really good things. Now, one thing about carbs that you all do need to know is that carbs aren't essential. They're the only macronutrient out of the three which are not essential for your health. So if you don't get enough protein in or you don't get enough fat in, your health is going to go dramatically downhill. If you don't get in carbs, particularly starchy carbs, your health's actually not really going to change. Apparently the Eskimos used to have a very low vegetable, very low carbohydrate diet, high in protein, high in fat, high in animal fat, that sort of thing. So you can live without carbohydrates. A lot of people push very low carb diets for multiple reasons, such as autoimmune health, for gut health, things like this. But carbs actually do a heap, and you will, in general, for the general person just wanting to get leaner, look bigger, for anyone who's doing bodybuilding, anyone who's in performance, carbs are going to be your best mate. Now, Barry's already got a question here. He says, "Hey mate, high metabolism, does this mean you should carb load more to feed your muscles?" Nah, not really, man, not particularly. You got to adapt to the individual. So you just need to take in as many carbs as what you need in order to gain muscle or lose fat while staying full. So as I always say, eat as much as you can in order to get the best results. So the most volume, the most calories you can, while still losing fat or staying lean or gaining muscle. Alright, so back on to why carbs aren't scary. So the number one thing why carbs aren't scary and why they're actually fucking awesome for you is because they help you sleep. Anyone who trains with me will have the pleasure of experiencing carb backloading. When you carb backload and you eat all of your carbs at night, you will sleep like a boss. Like, you will honestly sleep super, super well. It'll be like you've never slept before. The carb coma that you get is absolutely fantastic. The reason this occurs is because of carbohydrates' action on serotonin and GABA, right? And it increases these two and makes it so that you are more likely to rest and chill and slow down. If you are on a low carb diet, you will generally sleep poorer than if you were on a higher carb diet. This is one really, really big reason to make sure that you do get in your carbs. Because as we all know, and if you haven't gathered this already, you're behind the eight ball, you need to get onto it. Sleep is essential. You need to sleep as much as you possibly can, and you need to sleep as best as you possibly can. There are numerous reasons for this, ranging from testosterone increases in men, cortisol decreases in both men and women, improved hormone levels, improved neurotransmitter levels, improved digestive health, the whole lot. Sleep is the bee's knees, so get amongst it and make the most of it. Now, the next reason why carbs aren't scary is because they're actually good for your digestion. Now, this is a bit of a roundabout way. As I said before with the sleep one, carbs increase serotonin and GABA. So when you ingest them, you get a release of serotonin and GABA. Now, if you have a bad digestive system, I can guarantee that you are going to have a GABA deficiency, and then you might also have a slight serotonin deficiency. When you have a GABA deficiency, it also causes a serotonin deficiency itself. So you pretty much are going to be depleted of both of these things. When your digestive system doesn't get stimulated or doesn't have GABA and 5-HTP there, the muscles in it can't relax and they can't expand. And if a muscle can't relax, then it can't contract either. And so it goes all spasmed, and this really screws your digestive system. It causes dysbiosis, it makes bacteria go into places where they shouldn't be, contributes to things like leaky gut, increases the amount of inflammation there, and makes you feel like absolute crap. It also further depletes your neurotransmitters, which is not fun at all. So carbs are actually really good for your digestion. For fat loss, carbs are actually good for fat loss. So you don't need to worry about carbs making you fat, because in the end of the day, if you're eating correctly, if you're eating the right types of foods, if you're eating at the right times, you're training enough, you're looking after yourself, then carbs will not affect your fat loss negatively. They will not make your fat loss slow. They will not make you gain weight, unless in circumstances where you've got shit digestion. If you've got bad digestion, you're a different kettle of fish, and I'll cater to you later. So carbs will actually also have a really good effect on the thyroid. One thing that a lot of people forget is that when you have carbs and you make insulin actually stimulates the production of leptin. It gets rid of the hunger hormones, and it also increases the output, the thyroid output. So if you're not having carbs, then your thyroid will not function as optimally as what it will without carbs. And that's fact. You can't argue with that whatsoever. You will have slightly reduced thyroid output. Well, if there's no presence of insulin, that is. So you can get away with that by having a massively high protein diet, but you wouldn't bother. It's actually it's really good for the thyroid. If you have hypothyroidism, it actually increases the amount of free T3, not increases, but it maintains it and has a positive effect of the amount of T3. It reduces reverse T3, which is like the thyroid hormone, which it doesn't work. It's like a bunk T3. It's like it's a lemon. It's useless. And it also increases your T4 creation. Having carbs makes your pumps bigger. Everybody knows that. When you have a fat load of carbs in before you go train, and then you get a pump, you feel massive, your delts are popping out, you can hardly grip the bar because your hands are so pumped. That's because of the carbs. And if you cut out carbs, then you miss that completely. So if you don't have carbs, then you're not going to get the pumps which you would otherwise. And it sucks. We all know it sucks when you don't have a pump. On top of this too, carbs contribute to muscle fullness. So if you are not eating carbs at all, or you're having very, very low amounts of carbs, then you won't be able to maintain absolute fullness. Okay? When you are full and you've got high amounts of glycogen stored in your muscles, you will actually look leaner. Okay? This is why with all my guys who are doing bodybuilding shows, you'll carb up for optimally 1 to 2 weeks. So 1 to 2 weeks of carving up higher calories. And so for all my competitors, that's what you've got to look forwards to. Just because that fullness is there in the muscles, and it actually draws water from the skin into the muscle when you do that. Now, at the same time, as I said before about the effect on serotonin, this has another really cool thing. When you increase your serotonin, you reduce your cravings. So by having carbs throughout the day, not throughout the day, if you have carbs in your diet, and you keep them around at high enough levels, it actually makes your serotonin levels better, which in turn reduces your cravings so that you are less likely to go off. Now, Alternatively, on zero carb diets, such as the keto diet, you also don't have any cravings, but that's because of stabilizing your blood sugar levels. So it's a slightly different mechanism. Now, stress. One thing that every single person who diets poorly and just cuts carbs out, has literally only protein and vegetables, has no fat either, you'll notice they're all stressed as fuck. They're like neurotic. They're like annoyingly stressed, okay? When somebody is having super, super low carbs and they're not watching their calories correctly, they get anxiety. Once again, because it's the depletion of GABA and 5-HTP that makes them go a little bit loopy. They lose their brain function, they're in fight or flight, and they're constantly on edge. So having carbs actually releases your stress in a big way. However, I've just given carbs all this praise, but I haven't told you about, what you have to do to earn them. And so whenever you eat carbs, you need to make sure that you've actually earned your carbs. If you're a fat shit and you're sitting at home on your couch thinking, oh yeah, James has just told me that I should eat more carbs because it'll make me sleep better, improve my digestion, it'll get rid of my cravings and make my thyroid work better, you're kidding yourself. You've got to be out and you've got to be active. Otherwise, you have no need for carbs. Remember, carbs are only an energy source. You don't need them for any other purpose other than energy. That's it. Period. You can get glucose from anything else. You can get glucose from protein and fats. You don't need it. They're only really for people who are active. If you're not active, you don't really need carbs at all in your diet. In fact, I'd recommend it. If you're not active and you're getting older, then I'd 100% recommend just going straight onto a keto diet because it's going to be way better for your health in the long run. But yeah, you need to earn your carbs. You can't just be a fat shit and just shovel shit into your mouth because, oh, I love carbs. I've got an emotional attachment to it. So pretty much, if you are not exercising, you're not depleting your glycogen, your carbs aren't going to be optimally partitioned, okay? So you need to make sure that you are stimulating insulin sensitivity by depleting skeletal muscle glycogen, which you do by lifting weights, okay? So I would recommend a minimum of 45 minutes a day, and that's about it. So 100%, if you're exercising less than 45 minutes a day throughout the week, I wouldn't bother with carbs, okay? You need to make sure that you earn them. If you don't, you will get fat, you will get insulin resistant, assuming that your calories are also over the top. With digestive health, on top of that too, if you have digestive issues and you are not processing carbs well at all, I would completely disregard this video, okay? You're a different kettle of fish. People with digestive issues who bloat when they have carbs because their digestive system isn't moving. Now, one thing about carbs is that while they are good for a lot of the gut microbiome because they are prebiotics, they feed bacteria, if you have bacteria in the wrong spot of your gut is going to ferment it, or your bacteria are going to ferment it. It's going to create methane. It's going to paralyze your gut, and it's going to ruin your life. It's going to absolutely suck. So with your digestive issues, you need to be super, super careful about how many carbs you have and when you have them. All right, you got to be really, really careful with this. I don't always recommend completely cutting them. If you can keep a little bit in, that's great, but you do have to be careful, as I said. Now, Dan Lane's just asked, do I generally use carb backloading only when cutting? No, I use it all the time, man. All the time. I froth carb backloading. It works really, really well for me. I notice that I stay leaner and I grow more when I do carb backload. I mean, my last bulk before this one, I was eating 5,500 calories a day. I was growing an absolute shitload. I still had striations in my quads, and I was pumping about 550 to 600 grams of carbs a day. So yeah, carb backloading is king. It's the shit. That's why I love it. Obviously, everybody is slightly different, but yeah, I think that carb backloading is king. It's fantastic for cutting, bulking, whatever. Just feeling good. It's amazing. Now, on to the questions, because that's all over on the carbs. If you guys have any questions, put them down below. But yeah, so I'm going to go through some of the questions that I got this week. This one's a ripper. So Barry's just said, When doing leg presses this morning on the machine, I warmed up using just 80 kilos, lowering my legs to my chest, then pushing up full. I moved on to 160 doing the same thing and almost instantly felt like I popped a rib. Is this a technique problem? Am I bringing my legs back to my chest too far? It was funny at the time but it's sore now. Now, if you're ever in pain in the gym and it's like a joint pain, it's like, fuck, what have I done? You don't push through it ever, period. You stop your workout, you go get it looked at, okay? There is no toughness. It's not tough being a fucking idiot, all right? If you get injured, you quit then and there. Now, I'm not calling Barry a fucking idiot because he's a terrific bloke. But yeah, if you do get injured during your workout, you call it quits then and there. There is no honor in making an injury worse. If you tell me it's like, James, you know what? I popped a rib this workout and I pushed on through, I will not give you a badge of honor. I'll be like, bruh, seriously? That is the only reaction that you'll get from me. So in regards to Barry's problem, yes, it is a technique problem. You do need to get that fixed up. You do need to get it looked at. There's a really good chiro here in St Leonard's who I send all my guys to called Jace. Jason Lamb, he's in at Tensegrity Clinics. If you need his details, just comment them below. Just comment below and I'll hook you up. But yeah, go find someone who's really good. Now, Oliver's just said, is there a difference between simple carbs and complex carbs, and which do you recommend when? Yeah, there's a massive difference. Simple carbs are referring to higher GI carbs, which don't have as much fiber in them, and complex carbs are carbs which contain more fiber. As far as difference in body composition, I do feel that there is a slight difference, even though the studies say no. So the studies say that there's no difference. It doesn't matter what you take when. However, from my time being, in the trenches, bodybuilding, at that top 1%, if you're really pushing for optimal results, which everybody who I work with is, then yes, there is a difference. I would say that you are better always just having your higher GI carbs around your workouts, because you get sick pumps with them, and if they're easier to digest, much easier, just go straight in, you don't get bloated or anything around your workouts, and then you have your complex carbs throughout the rest of the day because they keep you much more full. I also do see better fat loss and muscle gain results with it, period. Like you can't argue with that at all. Now, Brent's just said, I've got to meet you, James. I'd love you to train me, but you don't live on the Gold Coast. No, I don't live on the Gold Coast. Unlucky for you, Brent. But I do train everyone online, so if you still want me to train you, let me know. Laura's just asked, I keep getting shin splints from running, and all my knees get terribly sore. Is this common, or is my foot's placement wrong? Shin splints come from your hips, so literally any issue that you're going to have with literally anything, like your knees, your shins, your ankles, all that, it generally stems from your hips. Mostly from your QLs being imbalanced. So Laura, I go see a reputable chiro, physio, osteo, whatever I don't care, as long as they're good. But yeah, pretty much it generally stems from imbalance in your hips, so I find. So when your quadratus lumborum in your lower back turns on, your glutes turn off, and then your abductor turns on. So this is the pattern that I see in a shitload of people, literally 90% of people, all right? So what you'll most likely have, Laura, is most likely the right side of your lower back's going to be tight. Your right glute medius, the one that turns your hip out like that, that's going to be turned off. Your left adductor is going to be quite tight, and then your right VMO, that the teardrop muscle, that's going to be off. So you need to go get them looked at, all right? So just tape over that bit, or record this bit that I just said to you, take it over to your physio and chiro, get them to look at it, because I'm going to be right. Yeah, now next question. When yous start to get Chris, improve your grammar. When yous start to get sick, or you can feel a flu or virus coming on, what steps does everyone take to fight it off or stop it from getting any worse? Number one, you shouldn't be getting sick. If you're completely healthy and your gut's killing it, then you should not be getting crook at all, okay? So the best steps to do it are, number one, be healthy in the first place, have optimal gut health. You won't ever have to worry about this. I never get sick, ever. The next one is to sleep optimally. On top of that, just take a little bit of oregano oil. It can help speed things up. And then after that, try taking a probiotic, okay? Because it can just rebalance your gut bacteria. Whenever you get crook, it's because a certain bacteria has overrun and became a little bit too populated. And that's generally the solution to it. If you fix your gut, you fix your immune system. Over 70% of your gut, 70% of your immune system is located in your gut, and it's 85% of your immunoglobulin producing cells are also in your gut, if I remember correctly. Immunoglobulin is the main antibody producer, so the thing that stops you from getting crook. Okay, what's the recommended dosage and frequency for taking 5-HTP and melatonin? Should it be stacked with Resurrect? Yeah, so look, for the average person, I'd just say for taking 5-HTP and melatonin, I'd recommend about 100 milligrams of 5-HTP and 3 milligrams of melatonin. But it really varies. It's got to be tailored to the individual. So yeah, it really needs to be tailored to the individual, because if you are deficient and highly deficient in 5-HTP and you're deficient in GABA, then you're going to need more 5-HTP and melatonin. So I can't really give you an accurate answer there. He's also asked, should it be stacked with Resurrect? So for those of you who don't know, Ronnie Coleman Resurrect is the shit. It is mint. Absolutely awesome. So get on that stuff. You can buy it from SabetoSupplements.com. Pretty much what it does is makes you sleep amazingly. And it increases the amount of GABA, dopamine, and serotonin all at the same time. So the next morning you feel fresh. It's absolutely fantastic. So yes, definitely I would stack 5-HTP and melatonin with that. Jerome says, I was just wondering what are the best workouts to do to get big? Yeah, broad question, bro. Depends on your muscle and on your genetics, your muscle fiber types, and then your neurotransmitter profile. If you're a skinny bloke, I recommend lifting fucking heavy. But you also need at the same time to make sure that you have got enough aerobic capacity in order to recover properly. So really, in the end of the day, how I periodize a lot of my plans is I do keep a higher volume plan at the start for the average person. So, something with between 10 and 35, 40 reps at the start, just to bring up that aerobic capacity a little bit. And then, depending on their results with that and how they're feeling, I'll then either increase or reduce the volume going from there. So that's the best answer I can give for you, bro. In the end of the day, you just need to lift fucking heavy and eat more food. They're the two things that you need to do. Colette's just asked, can I have a few face-to-face fitness sessions with you, please? Yeah, I actually don't do face-to-face, bro. I'm all online. Because I look much better behind a camera than face-to-face, and I don't turn up that good. Now, Nick said, how much GABA before bed if you were taking capsules? Look, GABA before bed, man, GABA is actually a muscle relaxant. It doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier, so all it's going to do is chill out your muscles, but it's not actually going to work on your mind. So, yeah, look, man, it doesn't really matter. It's just enough to see how much it relaxes your muscles. I'd say maybe, you can have up to 6 grams. I popped 6 grams once, and that was pretty cool. I got all tinglies and shit, and then I was relaxed as anything, chilled out, better than Valium. But yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend doing that all the time. Keep it as low as possible. Keep it as low as you have to, and only fix your deficiency with that. Now, CJ Hills just said, hey mate, what are your thoughts on breaking your daily fast with your post-workout meal? Is it going to be that detrimental gains, bearing in mind that I'm still hitting my macros and intake during my feeding time? Breaking your fast with your post-workout meal. Okay, so you're saying what are my thoughts on training fasted? Yeah, man, training fasted, I fucking love training fasted. Honestly, it's the best. I get the best results by training fasted. And I'll tell you why. Because when you're fasted, you're still in that fight or flight. When you're in fight or flight, your brain's working, your muscles are working, your blood's pumping. All right? I will always hit PBs when I'm fasted. Hands down. So much stronger, so much better, and even better pumps at the same time. So yeah, bro, it's sweet to do that. As long as you hit your macros and you intake through the rest of the day and you're smart with it. Now, Jordan Moore's just come through over the gram, and he's just said, is caffeine good or bad? Caffeine is good in certain situations, okay? So if you're using it correctly and you're not massively overdosing on it, then yeah, caffeine is good. It's grouse, in fact. I recommend up to between 50 to 100 milligrams a day max, depending on how you respond. However, with that being said, there's always a catch with me, because you're all different, unfortunately. So I just give these cryptic answers. However, if you are deficient in GABA or serotonin, having caffeine is going to send you right up off the wall. and you're going to be on a massive adrenaline high for a long time. You're not going to come down, and then when you do come down, you're going to crash like a mofo. All right, so you really need to assess your caffeine tolerance and take it yourself. If you are jittery, if you are like mild anxiety, if you feel like you're stimmed out of your mind, if you feel like you've taken any of those shithouse pre-workouts that I talked about 2 videos ago, then yeah, you're having too much. Catherine's just said, can Resurrect be taken by women because it's a growth hormone? Resurrect is not a growth hormone, although I wish it was, because if I could buy a growth hormone for $60 for 30 serves, I mean, that'd be an absolute bargain. And if it were legal as well, I'd probably be on it too. So yeah, there's no reason why women can't take it at all. It's more than healthy. It says on the label, not for pregnant women to take. I mean, yeah, why not? If you're pregnant, I probably wouldn't take it just because it's not worth the risk. But other than that, there's no evidence to suggest that it's going to do anything bad to you whatsoever. Hey, I've been popping it for like 5 years now. I've got my, weirdnesses about me, but I reckon I'm pretty all right. Okay, sweet. Now, next one is, how big are you? I am 90 to 95 kilos. I fluctuate in between there, up and down about 5 kilos, and I'm 6 foot on the dot, 184 centimeters. How many calories a day do I eat? I'm on about 4 to 4.5, roughly at the moment. Although I'm not really counting, I'm just kind of eating just because I want to get big. I stay very lean all the time, pretty much because I've been literally less than 6% body fat for the last 5-6 years. What you guys will learn, the more I do these Q&As, is that once you get your body into an optimal state and you maintain it there, you can actually change your genetics so that you stay there for the rest of your life. So with people who are like, oh, I'm fat, I've got shit genetics. It's like, no, it's not your genetics that you're fat, it's you. It's the shit you're putting into your mouth. So if you're less than 6% body fat and you maintain that for a long period of time, your hormones, your genetics actually change and allow you to stay there forever. Okay, this is why I get my guys on a 52-week plan. So everyone who trains with me, over the course of 52 weeks, we can completely change your genetics, because that's roughly one cell cycle. So you can change your genetics, and then after then you'll stay lean very, very happily. So I can go over and go on holidays, eat shit, do whatever I like, although I don't really eat shit, I just eat lots of food. You're going to eat lots of food and you'll stay lean all the time, providing you look after your digestive system and don't be a dickhead. So yeah. Now Lachlan's just said, is training at 4 a.m. good or bad for muscle growth? Having just woken up an empty stomach. Brother, just answered this. Yeah, man, it doesn't matter what time you train. Your muscles couldn't give a fuck what time it is. They don't have a clock. So yeah, lifting at 4 a.m. is great. Lifting fasted, great. I love it. I prefer it. If I were training each body part twice weekly, how would that look like? Yeah, man, so I actually train my body parts often more frequently than that, up to 5 times a week. So pretty much, it doesn't matter, dude, to be perfectly honest. In the end of the day, with muscle growth, one of the things that a lot of people suggest, or a lot of the research is now suggesting, is that the biggest thing that increases muscle growth is training frequency. That you need to be training your muscles highly, highly frequency. I know good mate Rawdon Dubois, the Dubois method, awesome comp prep coach. He gets his clients doing, 5 or more sessions per week on each body part. Okay, so really it doesn't matter how you split it up, just get it in. Frequency is great. On that though, at the same time, here is another contradiction. What you guys need to do with your training programs is that you need to balance out frequency with volume. So if you're doing fucking huge sessions like 40 sets, like some of the ones I prescribe my clients, and you're doing them on that body part, like say chest, you're hitting 40 sets on a body part 5 times a week, you're going to cook yourself hard. So you need to balance out frequency, volume, and intensity altogether, okay? So you can't have maximal frequency, volume, and intensity at the same time. You got to have a balance of the all three. Now, next question was, do I take fat burners? Fuck no. I got heaps of questions about fat burners last night after I rubbished them. Listen to my videos. No, fat burners, bad, not good, don't help, ruin your gut. Here's another one. Body fat is 23%. Best fat burner. Yeah. Nah, bro. Best fat burner is food and a bit of exercise. That's going to be your best mate. Someone said, fuck the treadmill. Yes, well said. I like that. Fuck the treadmill. Treadmills are crap. We don't like treadmills. Now, what are the benefits of intermittent fasting? Geez, dude, where do I start on that? Intermittent fasting is fantastic, and it sucks at the same time, okay? Just depends how you use it, as always. So, I'm going to start off from the good. I work with a lot of guys and girls who have gut issues, who have hormone issues, who have inflammatory issues, things like that. I've been working recently with a guy who has lupus. As lupus, if any of you know, it's an immune issue where your body pretty much starts like nomming away on itself. It's not a lot of fun, and pretty much what we've done is we've almost managed to get him off his steroids. So he's just slowly coming off his immunosuppressant drugs. And the main way I did that is by using an adapted form of intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting is fantastic for reducing inflammation. It allows your body to heal. How it does this is through activation of a pathway called AMPK. AMPK is adenosine monophosphate activated kinase. All right? What it does is it stimulates your cells to kill off all the bad ones and allow the good ones to repopulate and to come back again. It stops anabolic processes, meaning it's not good for muscle. But yeah, it breaks down a lot of the bad stuff. If you are constantly in an anabolic state, so in a constantly high calorie diet, and you're in a caloric surplus all the time, then you're actually at more of a risk of getting a little bit crook, because your cells actually don't die because they're just focused on growing and growing and growing. So you do want to make sure that you're churning over your cells, and intermittent fasting is fantastic for that. Intermittent fasting also can be really good for digestive issues because it provides relief. However, at the same time, if you have some hormonal issues, such as massively elevated stress, cortisol, and neurotransmitter imbalances, intermittent fasting can be dodgy, okay? And it's really, you got to take it on a case-by-case basis. It's a very, very powerful thing. Now, Daniel Lewis has just answered, do I implement any cardio into my weekly workouts? Yeah, man, I love cardio. I play basketball. So I play down a couple of local comps here in Sydney. And pretty much I go hard at it, and that's my cardio. So I'll play, anywhere between 2 to 4 times a week, just doing basketball. Fuck the treadmill, because the treadmill sucks. It's boring as anything unless there's a new episode of South Park out, which there is actually at the moment. And do I drink alcohol? Yeah, every now and then. Look, I'm not a big fan of drinking, just because after you drink, you feel like crap. When I was in Bali, I had a couple of sessions out in the Cairns, but when I do drink, I just stick pretty much to either mojitos, my new favorite, or vodka. When I'm coming into comps, no, I don't drink. I wouldn't drink for 16 weeks to 24 weeks. Last year when I was competing, I did about 18 months to 2 years straight of dieting, training for a comp. I think I drank once in that whole period. So yeah, it really depends on where I'm at. My goals are pretty different though, dude. Like, I want to be on the Olympia. I want to win the Olympia, Men's Physique Mr. Olympia, within the next couple of years. So, whether I drink or not doesn't really bother me. I kind of got other stuff that I want to get done. Now, Wayne said, I'm on a keto diet at the moment. I've started hitting cardio after weights, and I need tips on how to drop off another kilo or so before next Friday. After Friday, I plan on bulking in, but I'll still be eating clean. What are some good tips to stack on some muscle but stay lean? So there's a couple of questions in there. So how to drop off another kilo or so before Friday? Exercise more, eat less. Simple. That's all you got to do, man. If you want to lose fat in a week, that's what you got to do. Also, make sure your digestion is optimal, and don't eat any stupid foods. Stupid foods being foods which bloat you, cause gastric distress, burping, anything like that. Stacking on muscle but staying lean is probably to not do a keto diet. That's probably not the best thing for you if you want to gain muscle. Studies say that the keto diet is actually more anabolic than having a diet higher in carbohydrates, but I debate that. I debate the studies. Studies aren't the be all and end all, guys, because in the end of the day, they're very controlled and they don't actually reflect real life a lot of the time. I would say just go on to a higher protein, moderate carb, moderate fat diet, train hard, and periodize your training plan properly. That's as much general information as I can give you, dude. If with my clients, it's a lot more specific than that, but I get them to fill out like fucking 70 questions and then all these tests and shit. But yeah, so Stevie Pies just asked, each time I train, my body becomes bloated. This gets worse the more aerobic the workout is. Is this a symptom of poor gut health or anything else to worry about? Shit, yeah, man, it's a symptom of gut health. So a lot of people actually get bloated, if they've got gut issues, they get bloated during the workouts because you switch from rest and digest to fight or flight. When you go to fight or flight, you lose the blood flow to the gut, and when the gut gets paralyzed and then some gas or food gets trapped in there, and then it expands and bloats out. So my recommendation for you, bro, would be to, number one, just go see your GP. Just get a check. It never hurts. That's what they're there for. They're there for just to check the general stuff. And then number two, look after your gut. Number three, if you need a hand, inbox me. I'm happy to help you out. But yeah, stuff like that sucks, and don't accept it as normal because it's not normal, and it's not fun whatsoever. All right? Okay, what was the next one? Oh, someone asked, how do you know that you are deficient in L-carnitine? All right, good question. So one thing we covered last night, actually a really good question got asked, was it's about L-carnitine. So someone asked, is L-carnitine a good fat burner? Now the answer to that question is no, if you've got a good diet, okay? If you're vegan and you're not eating any meat, vegan or veggie, you're not eating any meat, I wouldn't recommend being vegan or veggie, by the way. If you're not eating any meat, then yes, you will be deficient in L-carnitine, and yes, you will need to supplement it, and yes, when you supplement L-carnitine, you will lose some fat because it's a fat transporter. So how do you know that you're deficient in it? If you're not eating meat, then yes, you're going to be deficient in L-carnitine. No two ways about it, because it's literally the only decent way of getting L-carnitine into your diet. So yeah, that's the number one. Guys, if you want to look your best, eat meat. There are no fucking health effects to it. All these stupid studies conducted by vegans and vegetarians with a vendetta against people who eat animals are crazy, nuts. What the health? Has any of you watched that? If you've watched that, react to it laughing right now because it's a fucking joke. Worst movie ever. Or documentary, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if you even know if you can call it a documentary because there's so much fiction in there. It's about as real life as Star Wars. But yeah, what the health? That thing which said that meat contains like opioids and stuff like that. Like, no, it fucking doesn't. It doesn't do anything like that. Meat's not addictive. Like, it's just delicious. That's all. So yeah, no. If anybody tells you that it's healthier to be vegan or vegetarian, they're wrong. Wrong. In fact, vegans and vegetarians often have high amounts of deficiencies because their diets are so limited, particularly vegans. And then a lot of the food they have has very poor bioavailability. So a lot of the foods they eat contain this stuff called phytic acid, which actually prevents nutrient absorption. On top of this too, most vegans and vegetarians will actually have a gut issue. That's why they eat so little, because they're having their super calorie dense little shitty protein brownies made with nice bits of hemp and cacao and coconut oil and other crap like that. That's all they can eat. They can just have that much because it bloats them so much because they're eating so many fermentable foods, and they're so stressed out because they're so malnourished and they look like monochromatic ring wraiths. I would not recommend being vegan whatsoever because it's not healthier. If you do it for ethical reasons, fair play to you. I can't debate that. However, I would go see sheep. If you stop eating meat, if you ever see sheep, you'll realize why we kill them, because they're fucking retarded. Having grown up on a farm, I can tell you right now that they are definitely worth killing. Right now, Jose's just said, mate, I don't have definition, but I do have size and good shirt muscle body. Should I drop carbs? Should you drop carbs? I don't have definition. Mate, you just need to exercise more and fix your digestive health. That's what the same answer I'll tell everybody who wants to look a bit better. If you want to get a bit leaner, exercise more, all right? Eat as much food as you can while still dropping fat, and then make sure that your digestive system's working. Now, Jackie's asked, how many rest days should I have during the week? I weight train 6 times per week and cardio 3 times per week. Is this about right? I want to gain muscle and lose fat. Good question. So, The answer to this is pretty much rest when you feel like it. Right? With my guys, I periodize rest in, so roughly 2 days a week. But my workouts are quite ridiculous. So once again, it comes back to what I was talking about 10 minutes ago, 10, 15 minutes ago, is the balance between frequency, volume, and intensity, okay? So if you are training with massive volume and massive intensity, you need to train less frequently, okay? So that's when you'll increase your reps, your rest. If you're not training very hard and you're not getting sore the next day, you're not getting jammed up, your brain functions still great, then yeah, 6 days a week is easy. As for cardio, I think you can do really as much cardio as you like. I mean, I look back to when I was a kid and look what I did. I would exercise like, I shit you not, probably about 5-6 hours a day, at least. Every morning I was outside. Every lunchtime I was outside. Every recess I was outside. You know, after school I was outside. That's it. You know, I was an annoying little shit, so my parents kicked me out. I grew up on a farm. We had 100 and something acres, and I wasn't allowed inside from the time I got back from school until the time, you know, dinner came around. So yeah, I was spending hours outside every single day and never felt bad or negative in any way. So if you're doing cardio and you're doing it fun and you're enjoying it and you're still feeling good, then yeah, go for it. Do as much cardio as you like. I don't think that there's any real downside to cardio unless you're doing stupid steady state on that shitty little thing, the hamster wheel, the treadmill. If you're on that and you're doing cardio, you're hating your life, you're increasing your insulin resistance, chucking your cortisol through the roof, then yeah, it's no good. If you're enjoying your cardio, you're outside, you're getting sun, you know, you're being social, you're playing sport with your friends, playing squash, whatever you do, I don't care. Yeah, you can do as much as you like. So, Jackie, I hope that answers your question. And that, yeah, you need to balance between frequency, volume, intensity with your weight sessions. So you need to figure out for you what's best. And then cardio, go for it, enjoy it. Now, Daniel Woods has asked, will I ever be as smart as you? No, you will not. And I like it that way because this is my thing. No, dude, I'm really, I can tell you what, I'm really not that smart at all. I just say lots of big words. All right, sweet. I think that we've just about covered everything. I think that's pretty much it, to be perfectly honest, guys. If you have any last minute questions that you want to get on through, let me know. Just comment them below, because if there aren't any in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to go down and grab some gluten-free pizza because it's cheat day and I'm bulky and I can eat whatever I like. So yeah, so comment below and just comment down there if you want me to cover anything and I'll do it. Oh, here we go. Chris has just said, hey mate, going off a macros calculator online, it has me around 2,300 calories on a deficit. I'm 6 foot 90 kilos. Would there be any detrimental effects to having a larger deficit so I don't have to reassess my macros and progress every 3 to 4 weeks? Dude, you always need to reassess your programs. I change my clients' programs a minimum of once a month, once every 4 weeks. The reason being is your body adapts. Your body doesn't want you to lose fat, okay? It adapts. It decreases your energy output if you go into a calorie deficit. You know, if you're a healthy bloke, if you're a lean 6 foot, if you're a lean 6 foot 90 kilos on 2,300 calories, that's, you know, probably a bit lower. I'd probably bump that up a couple of hundred, you know, just depending on how much fat you got. But yeah, dude, you need to revisit your calories like regularly, man, like really, really regularly. Okay. I would not try and minimize the amount of calories you take. And also, dude, why the fuck would you want to eat less? What are the point? Eating's sick. I love eating. Like, I eat as much as I can all the time. Like, why would you not want to eat more food and, like, drop calories as a last resort? In fact, dude, I'd say for you, man, if you got the time, and if you've had your training structured correctly, man, if you can increase your calories and increase your energy expenditure, I would do. Because I'm 90 kilos, and I'll tell you what, I'd be one grumpy man. I'm 90 kilos, I'm lean as well, but I'd be one grumpy man if I was on 2,300 calories. All right. Now, Catherine has said, how does low iron levels impact performance in the gym when trying to lose weight and increase strength? Good question. Iron's actually not one of my strengths, so I'll actually have to pass on that, but I will look it up because I don't like not knowing things. It makes me feel inferior. So great question, Catherine. I will get onto that, and I'm going to put that down for next week's the next live video. Iron. Done. Great question. Now, Wayne's just said, once I finish the cut and go back to a decent diet, how much carbs should I intake? Bruh, different people have got different amounts. So yeah, man, I really say try and eat as many carbs as you possibly can while staying lean. That's the best advice I can give you. Chicken or beef on the plane? I've got no idea what you're talking about, bro. But I don't like chicken, so I'll go with the beef. Dan Fielding, anytime, brother. Hope it helps. Jeff Cooper, nice convo. Thank you, mate. And thank you for all the love hearts. They didn't go unnoticed. I did appreciate them. All right, guys. Well, look, I think that's it. If there's any in there... Oh, Chris has just said, I'm probably sitting at about 20% body fat range. All right. So if you do have higher body fat, then you can, you can go dip a little bit lower with your calories because you will have poorer hormones, okay? So you drop your calories a little bit lower to drop the fat quicker. If you're beneath 10% body fat, you should be trying to, if you're 10% body fat, 90 kilos or even less, and you're maintaining quite well, then you should probably try and eat around 3,000 calories minimum, all right? So yeah, Chris, no, good option. 2,300 calories, good starting point. Probably increase your energy expenditure via cardio, weights. Sex is a good one to increase your calorie expenditure. Guys, as you'll all probably know, I'm a big fan of sex. Sex is awesome. And sex is cardio. So sex is actually the best cardio you can have. So have as much sex as you possibly can. The reason being, when you have sex, you actually increase all your neurotransmitters and you feel amazing. It makes your mood better. It reduces your stress. It actually makes your performance with literally everything. So yeah, have more sex, Chris. That's my advice. And if you're not getting sex, get leaner and then get more sex because everyone gets more sex when they're lean. It is fact. All right, dudes and dudettes, I'm off on that note. Thank you very much for joining me. These things are fun. I like them. My next one's most likely going to be on Monday. All right, so yeah, I'll probably be live next on Monday or Sunday. Should I do Sunday? All right, I'll do Sunday. Yeah, so I'll be live on Sunday, same time, 7:30, 8 o'clock. All right, on the page. Guys, if you haven't already, join into the JCF Shred community. I'm going to put the link up now. Here we go for all of you. And what I do in the Shred community is where I give like all the support for you guys, or for a lot of my clients, and I pretty much help you out, give you the skinny on a lot of things, answer your questions, get a lot of questions for these Q&As. So just get in and amongst it. I've also got a couple of my team members just go through, message you guys, chat lifting with you, and just pretty much help you out because I want you all to get shredded and jacked. All right, Chris, enjoy your nookie because your missus should get it because James said so. All right, bras, I'm out. Take it easy. I hope this helped.